I'm not supposed to be here. July 13th being today, I don't know when you're going to air this, but 30 years ago today, I was pronounced brain dead, right down here. And I was given a 10% chance of living. And if I did live, I was given a 5% chance, even if I did, I would come out of a vegetative state. And that was just one of my near-death experiences. I've had quite a few. I grew up without a father, and I ran away from home when I was 15, and I raised myself, and I was homeless at 15, and I was living under the Asbury Park boardwalk, and I wound up at Cornell. And I was lucky to get to Cornell, very lucky. I graduated in 1970. I was flipping pancakes at a Perkins Pancake House, and I was supporting myself. The company, Warren Gardner Hammonds, made me a job offer, and they wanted me to start in Syracuse. And I didn't want to start in Syracuse, and I was comfortable just living in Asbury Park and maybe become the assistant manager of that Perkins. And I said, well, if you want me, I want to start in Cincinnati. He said, what do you mean you want to start in Cincinnati? I said, I'm a Reds fan. He said, you're a Reds fan? You're born and raised in Jersey. I said, well, I'm a Reds fan. I started at the Holiday Inn on Lynn Street. I was a junior assistant innkeeper for $700 a month. And I had 20 bucks and a Dodge Charger jacked up in the back. I bumped into Johnny Bench, staying at the same apartment I was staying at. We became friends, and at the Holiday Inn's, Pete Rose became a friend of mine, and Sparky Anderson. And eventually I wanted my own restaurant, and this place here was Amanda's in 1980, and they had 52 liens against it. By then, I had given my notice and got fired. Since the economy was so bad, Johnny said, well, we're not going to buy it. I said, well, it's too late, I'm out of work. So we bought it. I didn't want to make it a steakhouse, though. I wanted to go really gourmet and upscale. I had a partner named Dave Meyer. He says, you got to go to this place called the Pine Club in Dayton. It's steak. I said, I'm not going to be a steakhouse. I want to do continental cuisine. I want to do tableside service. I want to do fancy food. He said, no, you got to go to this place. You got to go, you got to go, you got to go. I said, okay. He drove me crazy. So we go to the Pine Club. It's a honky-tonk type of steakhouse, you know? But I never had a steak like that anywhere. I said, damn, this is good. And I'd been to Morton's in Chicago, just opened up. And I said, you know what? If I take a little bit of this, your steak's better than Morton's, but Morton's does other things I like. That was the start. So this became the first steakhouse in the city. But I broke every rule in the book. There's a right way, there's a wrong way, and then there was my way. We didn't have a lot of money for decor in here. It was very small. We had 68 seats. We mirrored everything so the place looked bigger. You had a painting on one wall and a mirror on the other. You have two paintings now. There was no steakhouse in America that did a nightclub, a discotheque, that catered to women, that designed it for women, that hired women. We had young people waiting on you. We dry aged the steaks on the premises. At these steakhouses in New York and Chicago, I think they dry aged the waiters on the premises, you know. You could hear the subwoofers above you. You know, your shrimp were popping out of your shrimp cocktail glass from all of the sound above. We did a lot of things first. We were the first one that introduced no smoking. My partners were ready to kill me. We're first to have defibrillators. I never had a busboy. I came up with the term server assistant. I never had the term customer. We were the first independent restaurant anywhere to call them guests, not customers. So I did a lot of things first. I worked a lot of hours, and I was the manager here too. But the place was packed, upstairs was crazy. There was a lot of fights, We had a little prison put in where that alcove is when you walk in. I had that made look like a jail. Some kid is walking outside up Columbia Parkway at rush hour, drunk. And I grabbed him and threw him in jail. He called his lawyer. There was a phone in there. He called his lawyer, said he thought he was in jail. That's when I said, I gotta get some alcohol training here before somebody gets killed. And you got all of these because of the bar and you know, people trying to get in, they couldn't get in. But everybody who was anybody was coming in there. All the ball players were here. and Andre Agassi and Jimmy Connors and everybody, and Sylvester Stallone and all the actors, all the Hollywood movie stars, rock stars, and jock stars, and everybody was here. Half the people in the city got married, they met here, I think. It was, and then after that it was the waterfront. But they met because of that bar up there. I always had great food here, though. We really paid a lot of attention to food. My whole life was food. Growing up, I started cooking when I was 13, and I fired my first chef when I was 13. In the business, it's called 86. You're out of it, you say, no, 86 is, I don't want to run it. I ate 86 steaks one night. I still do. If filet mignons or strip steaks or any ribeyes are not up to my 86, I don't want to serve them. I don't want anybody something that they may not notice it, but I notice it. Expect the best. It was our menu. Coldwell Banker asked permission to use that for their national slogan. I said, yeah. It was part of that chemistry between, and no one had ever done that, combining a singles club with upscale dining. No one did that. It was magic. I got a $1,250,000 bet on this game. And, I don't think there's that many people betting that much on this game in Vegas, anywhere. I don't make any decision by myself, thank God, or we'd all be in trouble here. It started with if Northern Kentucky beats UK, we'll buy the whole school dinner. I felt bad because they really made a comeback. I was at the game and going over there at halftime and meeting the AD for the first time, and some of the kids, and then some of the kids were tweeting me before that. And I'm wearing this UK National Championship ring here from 2012. And I remember talking to the AD. I said, if you lose, I want to do something still. And I get my daughter involved because she's smarter than me, and we got the rest of our people. We decided, okay, let's just do the schools that were in that tournament where we're near in the restaurant. Well, now we're talking Vanderbilt, and there's a lot of schools in Nashville. But we're talking about, we couldn't afford it. We'd be out of business. So we kept it to, I don't know, whatever schools it was, 7 schools, 9 schools, I don't remember, that were in the tournament that were near us. We had to put together a whole research thing on how we're going to do this, how we're going to control this, because everybody's going to try to screw it up for us. There's people tweeting me. I graduated 20 years ago, my daughter graduated. We had to pay a company to handle this for us. So that was another expense. So we did it, and we're still doing it, starting this year. And if you're a sophomore or whatever, when you graduate. If you were a freshman this year, when you graduate, it goes for 4 years. It's still a lot of money.
I can't even imagine what that costs. I have no idea, but...
I don't either. And my giving has a lot to do with me remembering the day I got out of that hospital, that I would do my community service. I'm lucky to be here on a lot of levels. When I do these things, where people don't understand me, they think, well, he's doing it for publicity or he's doing whatever. Let them, until they've walked a mile in my shoes, they shouldn't judge me. I firmly believe if you have the financial capability where you're comfortable and you have the disposable income, you should give some of it back to the people that gave it to you in the first place. And that's the people in your community. I didn't inherit it, that's for damn sure. I didn't do it by myself. There's 2 reasons I have money that I can afford to give back, whether it's this college thing, whether it's rewards. I got the employees that work for me, and I got the people in the community that support the restaurants. Those are the 2 reasons I have the money that I have. And I'm not excessively wealthy, but I have a disposable income that I should give some of that back. I'm divorced. I had 10 years of giving a lot of it back to my ex-wife, and I don't have that now. There was a time there. She was getting half, and Uncle Sam was getting half. I was finding nothing, especially after I gave to the community. I was really saying, what am I doing here? But now, it's just Uncle Sam. It's the community that gave it to me in the first place. And the people that are really wealthy, that don't recognize that, and want to give some of it back, a good amount of it back to the community, I think are being selfish.